literally would go sleepless nights and then wake up for a morning shift for like a double shift at the restaurant.
All for the sake of the song.
All for the sake, like I was just like, I have to do it. Like it's part of it.
Just wanted to get a good dance in.
We got the dance.
All right. So next up here, we have the midway point of the album. Intermission, which is False Awakening.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting choice of a title there. Can you actually can you explain?
Oh, yeah. What is a false?
A false awakening is what I was explaining before. It's like when you wake up.
Oh yeah, 100% is.
Yeah, when you're in a dream and you wake up and you think that you've woken up, but you're actually still in a dream.
Mm-hmm.
That's a false awakening.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And the concept of the song obviously revolves around that, but the sonic landscape is really painting that picture. I think anyway, is that the narrator is being like lulled, like you were saying, in shadows, being lulled in this dreamlike state where he's like waking up and falling back asleep, going in between the two worlds of reality and the fantasy landscape that is the songs. And it was just an intermission, something that was heavily inspired by Coldplay, something that we wanted to incorporate and put our own little spin on. So that's pretty much all this song was. Oh, something I wanted to mention too is that I brought this up earlier in the segment. I forget which one, but I had gone to sleep literally one night and woken up and completely heard this song from start to finish. I dreamt the song exactly what I wanted, and I woke up and instantly knew exactly what I wanted the soundscape to be for this song. And woke up 3 a.m. and just got on the laptop and started making it. And by the morning, I had, came up with the rough sketch of the song, and I had shown you and explained, the idea behind it. So
yeah,
it was pretty cool. Pretty cool little Easter egg, I guess.
Yeah, like we talked about. Again, I know it sounds probably like intentionally artistic, like whatever, but a lot of things in terms of songwriting or music production, they actually do come in the way of dreams. Just because I think when you're in that state of mind, your mind is a little bit more lucid. It's a little bit more relaxed. Free-flowing. Yeah, it's a little more free-flowing. And when it is, ideas can come to you a little bit more easily. Because when you're conscious and you're going into the process of trying to songwrite or you're trying to create something, you're always kind of impeded by the bias of actually trying to create something. Whereas if you take away that bias and things come to you naturally, I don't know, it can just channel through you a little bit more easily. So for you and I both, a lot of songs that we write is either sometimes like
dead of night,
like in a mid dream or in early morning when you're kind of in that half dream, half awake state. And for me, a lot of times it'll just be like it's like a loop in my head. It's usually just like a couple of lines and like it'll go over and over again. And then from there, I'll wake up, hit the piano, try to come up with the chords, whatever it is that I was hearing, and then try to build it out from there. It's not like it's always like the full song. It's more just like a rough idea.
Yeah.
And then you just build it out and you kind of chase, the rabbit down the rabbit hole. Well, more or less.
Every songwriter or producer knows that if you have an idea in the dead of night, like when you're just laying there, not quite asleep yet, if you don't capitalize it, like if you get hit with that spark of inspiration while you're just starting to fall asleep, if you don't capitalize on it in that moment, you're not going to remember it in the morning. You're 100% going to forget it. And you could think like, oh, this is so gold, just like laying there thinking about the melody or the rhythm or whatever.
And you're like, I'll definitely remember this tomorrow.
remember this tomorrow. Every time I've ever done that, I always forget. So depending on how important I think it is,
is what will actually pull you out of bed.
Is what will
I
actually.
can't tell you how many times.
So many times I'll literally just, like where it feels like, getting up in the morning for like your job or whatever, just like, oh, here we go again. Like, I got to do this. It's part of the, the process of it all.
And sometimes it's like, it's almost at this point now, because when you first go through it, I think the first thing that happens is you're like, oh, I'll remember it in the morning. Then you realize that you won't.
Yeah.
So then you go through a process of like, all right, every time it happens, you're like, oh, I have to get it down.
I have to, yeah.
And then like you get so tired of doing that, you're like, all right, well, let me just lay here and see if it's worth it. Like you almost challenge the song to be like, all right, well, how good are you?
How good really
are you? Really going to pull me out of bed? And then sometimes it's so good, you're like, all right, damn.
Well, before, especially in the making of this album, of like just trying to prove so much to myself, I would literally get up in the middle of the night and like record. Whereas now I might just like make a voice memo.
Right. So you were probably in like the phase 2 of that process.
Yeah. Where I would literally get up.
Anything that happened, you were like, I have to capitalize on it right now.
Put on the MIDI keyboard, open up Cubase or whatever, and try to like make it come into fruition like then and there,
Whereas now it's like.
I can like sleepily like hum something into a voice memo and flesh it out later.
So many of those.
Like it doesn't have to be like
again almost like
the real McCoy right away, right?
Almost challenging the song too, because like the song comes to you almost through like divine intervention, and you're like
the dedication was just like unreal. Like literally would go sleepless nights and then wake up for a morning shift for like a double shift at the restaurant.
All for the sake of the song.
All for the sake. Like I was just like, I have to do it. Like it's part of it. Crazy.
No, honestly, like
not that this song was like a banger or anything.
No,
but
this
I think it's more of like a testament.
It's an intermission track, but it does speak volumes to a lot of those things. The only other things that I really want to talk about in this track itself. Pretty much like the calling for the narrator to wake up, which is like your voice saying like, Nick, wake up, likening back to the first song, not the first song, the second song, Shadows, would go back to sleep. At this point, it's wake up because he's in the dream, wake up from the dream, wake up. Yeah. And then the alarm going off, an actual recording of the iPhone alarm.
Yeah, we're recording actual iPhone.
Yeah, which I think is pretty cool. And this is almost like that, and we sort of talked about this, but it's almost like hitting that snooze button. It's like that half awake dream state in the morning, floating above your body. I do that
every morning. I'm the guy that sets like 7 alarms, like 15 minutes from each other, and just hits snoozes on each one. Do you do that, or do you have one?
No, I do. I set my alarm an hour early just so I can hit snooze like 5 times.
Yeah. But like, do you set like one for like 6 a.m., 6:50? I make myself sound way better.
Do all that.
9 a.m., 9:30. Really? I do 9:15, 9:30. I have to be reminded every 5 minutes.
No, I just do the one alarm at 9 a.m.
snooze.
And then I know I'm going to snooze like 4 or 5 times. Okay. But it's good because like that.
Apparently that's really bad for you.
Yeah, but it's good for writing, so we'll take it. It is. It's good for writing because that half dream-like state is where you can dream and you can be conscious of your, like when you wake up, you're still very conscious of your dreams. That's where I do some of my best writing. So.
Really? So you find yourself doing more writing like in the morning as
I'm a morning guy.
Interesting. I'm definitely more of like a 2-3 a.m.
It happens both.
Late in like starting to fall asleep vibe over like the morning. In the morning I'm like dead.
I'm like it happens more on like probably like not like in the middle of the week, like probably on a day where like I don't have to wake up at any given time, but like I'm starting to wake up a little bit and I'm in that half like dream-like state and I'm just kind of laying there and I'm in and out of sleep. That's when it happens for me because I know I don't have to wake up.
And you get up and actually write it down?
Yeah. Well, same thing as you. Like I sort of like challenged the song a little bit. I'll be
Yeah.
like, how good are you to pull me out of bed at this point? Because
Do you
like
write it in like a journal, or do you write it like on your iPhone?
probably on the iPhone, or probably record a voice memo.
Okay.
Depending on like sometimes it'll be like a lyrical loop in my head. Sometimes it'll be a lyric with a melody. If it's a lyric with a melody, then I kind of want to sing it.
Yeah.
I did that for a couple songs on the upcoming
Yeah. It
album.
doesn't really help to just write la 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 la.
And like again, like when that first starts happening to you, you think like, oh, I'm gonna remember it, but then you realize that
Those ones aren't worth keeping. Like if you really can't remember it.
I think if you think about it the night before and like it happens at night and you're like, oh, I'll remember it in the morning, and you lose it. That's not necessarily the case, because no matter what, no matter how good or bad it is, it's just like
Really never even.
you're traveling a very long distance.
Yeah.
Like consciously and through your subconscious from the night to the morning, and you think it's not that big of a deal and you'll remember it in the morning, but like I don't, if I don't record it, then I never will.
Yeah, and it's not gonna. It could be the best thing ever or a dud, but like
You should just
not
get
gonna have
something
a
down.
chance of potential if you don't at least record a like a snippet of your idea.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers it for False Awakening.
Yeah,
That's a
for
lot
a good 30-second intermission.
30-second track.
That's pretty good though.
Okay, so we'll just take a quick peek at this artwork here. So you've got me and you in the bedroom, posting up, hard body.
Chilling.
A lot of times we would do this. We would just like kind of, after we would make something, we would just kind of chill, sit back and listen to it. The cool thing with this is you've got like the fantasy world in the background. Little Easter egg here.
Instruments.
Still got the instruments.
Oh no, the guitar's there too in the corner.
Where is it?
Like left corner. It's like
I see it. It's right here.
Almost.
Okay, I gotcha. Cool little Easter egg here on the wall as like a poster.
That.
You've got the artwork for At World's End, which is that would be the next song on the album. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the
like
next song.
The way she interconnected everything is very skillful.
Yeah. Very, very us. Makes sense. Okay. So yeah, that pretty much just covers that one.
Yeah, you got the castle in the window.